slipped his chain off top of one of the run-ups, and that's just the opportunity I wanted, and you get a 5 or 10 second gap then, and then you can kind of really work and really manage it from there. Like it was very hard for about 4 or 5 laps, and it was just toing and froing, a second here, a second there, and it's not very much, but it's quite good because the course is quite good because you can see lots of gaps. You can see the gaps in many points on the lap. You can see if you pulled out a bit of time from lap to lap, but so there was sections on the lap that I'd have pulled the gap and he'd have closed back in another section, and you'd be just like, oh, keep the head down, keep pushing. But no, it's really good. I think he had a problem then with his tyre, and that was that, like, so, but you got to keep pushing in these situations, like, and it makes it difficult for the riders behind, like, they have to push flat out. He's pushing flat out all the way, so you can do mistakes. I mean, I had a bad run in the last round in time, and tyres coming off and puncturing and crashing and everything, so it's well done. It's the that's the sport, like, it's the sport that it is.
St Anne's Park is immense for cyclocross. You enjoy this terrain?
It's great because compared to some of the other parks you race in, there's a few more hills, a nice set of steps in it, and then there's a few ups and downs in it, which just adds a kind of different dynamic. Most of the parks have been quite flat, and we've really been working hard on the courses to get a bit of slope into them. But here, with the little river valley there, it just lends itself perfectly to the thing. It's a little bit tricky to ride here, but we try to keep the course as open as possible so that it's kind of fast, and to ride hard it's kind of tricky, but just to roll around it is relatively easy. So
how was the weather for you? I mean, it was cold and windy, and how was the course? Fairly wet?
No, it's grand actually. There was only a few patches now that it was really slippy. The drop down beside the duck pond was very, very slippy, and you had to be very careful there, because you were just kind of scared. It's actually the clay on top of the tarmac. It's really the slippiest part of it, and indeed all the tarmac corners are probably slippier than anything, because the tyres just don't hook up on them at all. They just skate across the top. But in the forest sections, it's actually the tyres bed in quite well, and you actually have quite a bit of grip. They slide eventually if you keep pushing, but it's it's tricky. But I mean, it's what it's always like in cyclocross. It's always this. It's always changing, and it changes from the start of the race to the end of the race, which is kind of the beauty of the sport. You can kind of find new lines and ride lines better and make an odd second here or there, like, and keep your momentum a little bit more. So it's all part and parcel of it.
How was your confidence coming into this? I mean, obviously Roger had some good wins, so were you thinking 50-50 or did you think he had the edge?
Oh, with the form so far this year, like, for sure, like, he's been riding really strongly this year, so you certainly couldn't. It certainly was no foregone conclusion. I mean, I'd say he was probably the favourite for it, but in this course maybe it wouldn't suit him as much as, say, Corker Park did earlier in the year. But he Roger's amazing. Like, he rides, and this is something that he wouldn't have done maybe years ago, but he rides the bike so well now everywhere. So he won't struggle on a course like this to ride this quickly. But I mean, I probably still have the edge on him on the technical stuff, but it's not that big a difference anymore. He's a good enough rider in that aspect.
Had you not had the chain issue, had you pinpointed somewhere in the course that you were going to try and get clear? I mean, was there an area that you thought would suit you more than he?
No, I was happy just to go with the thing at the start and not really push too hard and just sort of stay with it. I mean, I was very comfortable in the first 2 laps riding behind Matt initially and Roger. So, I was reasonably confident at that stage, but no, it hadn't. I would have given another 2 laps before I started thinking about it. I was going to just try and ride, but I think once you get your opportunity in a race like that, you've got to seize it and go for it, because once somebody's under pressure in a race, there's a 10-second gap, they're always fighting to get back on, they're always running wide on corners, and they're on the limit everywhere. And if you have a little cushion, you can kind of control that, like if you're riding quicker, of course. And it doesn't happen if you're not at the races, but if you have that pace, then you're able to kind of control the race a little bit and make it a little bit difficult for them. So
this is number 18, so what does it mean to you to continue such a run?
Well, I think with just the year I've had, it's been quite up and down. The form is it's been good in races, but I've got so old now that it's kind of struggled to maintain sort of consistent form. Like, I don't know how I'm going to be at each race I turn up, which is different to how I was 5 or 10 years ago, where I'd be about the same level every race. So you just don't know coming into something like this, you know. So it's, and the championship, you know, tomorrow, like, it's another year, you know, and it's, the championship's gone. Like, and if you lose the championship, you can't do anything about it for another year. So it does actually really mean something, you know. I think the Supercross Cup can come and go. Like, it doesn't really make that much difference. You win a round, you lose a round. It doesn't really matter. But it's the championship's a one-day event. It's all or nothing. I mean, it's not the World Championships, but it is to Irish people, maybe.